Welcome back to Decked Out.
It's June. That means we're doing our 6 CMC game. All the commanders have a 6 mana cost in the command zone, and we are joined by SchulzCubed.
As always, thank you to our sponsors, Tales of Adventure, Moxfield, and Ultimate Guard, but more on them later in the video.
All right, let's go ahead and check out those 6 CMC commanders. I'm MTGNerdGirl, and today I am playing Ivar Wolf-Kissed. She cares a lot about sagas and getting extra lands out of my graveyard onto the battlefield, which is really convenient because we're playing 6 mana cost commanders and they can get really expensive really quickly. So we're gonna get extra mana and lots of value from recurring all of our sagas.
Hey, I'm SchulzCubed, and today I'll be playing Shelob, Child of Ungoliant. This commander's been out for a while and I've been so excited to try it. Some of the spider synergies between her and Ishkana, I am stoked. Let's see what kind of songs we can spun.
Hey everyone, I'm Cherries, and today I'm playing Duke Older Ravenguard. This deck is all about Myriad, but the key to this is you want your creatures that are getting Myriad to do something. ETBs, damage triggers, things along those lines. So we're gonna do tons of ETBs and damage triggers and then multiply them by 3.
I'm Veggiewagonyee, and today I'm playing Poison in its most iconic colors, blue and red. My commander, Melik Izzet Paragon, gives me a lot of card advantage by allowing me to cast instants and sorceries off the top of my library and copy them. But really, it's just a setup for me to cast Prologue to Phyresis, which gives each of my opponents a poison counter, and then from there, we proliferate them until they're dead and use all of the Izzet tricks to stay alive.
Thanks to our sponsor, Tales of Adventure, the Decked Out team is going to be at MagicCon Vegas.
Woo! And Magic events are one of the best opportunities for you to trade in or sell your unused pieces of cardboard, but you don't want to be waiting all day for somebody to sift through all your cards. But Tales of Adventure has got the perfect solution for that. All you have to do is input your list of cards onto the TCG Player collection tracker, and then just show up to the TOA booth, give them your phone, and they'll have a quote for you in just moments.
And if this easy new system wasn't enough to get you to try out TOA's buying system, Decked Out will also be giving some exclusive tokens and stickers at the booth this year if you guys show up and either buy a card, sell a card, and give them our name and let them know that we sent you.
All right, well, it's now time to figure out which 6 mana value commander is the best. Let's play.
Welcome to the table. Let's see who goes first. 9.
7?
1.
Wow.
Oh, double 1, so we both go first.
All right, let's draw and play a Temple Garden, and I'll pass.
A Shock and an Overgrown Tomb. And we'll play Fintorn Elves. Taps for a mana.
I'm gonna continue this trend of Shocklands and play a tapped Sacred Foundry and pass.
Oh, I did not rip the shock off the top.
That would have been so cool.
I will just play Snow-Covered Mountain and pass.
Land for turn is going to be a command tower, and I'll pay 2 for Scholar of New Horizons. It's a 1/1 that comes into play with a counter. I can also tap it to remove a counter from a permanent I control, and I can search my library for a Plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than I do, I get to put that onto the battlefield tapped. If they don't, I get to put it into my hand. So here is my counter, and I'll pass the turn.
Play a Verdant Catacombs, and we'll pass.
I will play a Spectator Seating, tap for 2 mana, and play an Arcane Signet. Pass.
I'm gonna play a Snow-Covered Island. And then I'm gonna pay 2 for a Smoldering Egg. This is an 0/4 defender. When I cast an instant or sorcery, I put a number of ember counters on it equal to the mana spent to cast the spell. And then if it has 7 or more, it flips into a big old dragon. Pass. Can I smolder you an egg in these trying times? This is the ideal start for this deck because it feels bad to have to remove an 0/4 from the board. But once it flips, even if my opponents try to get rid of it, I can just cast a bunch of instants to get damage across the board before it's gone.
So I'm gonna make friends. In your end step, I'm gonna fetch. So we will search for a forest. Then I will tap 3 to cast an Archdruid's Charm. Search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield tapped if it's a land card, otherwise put it into your hand.
I don't understand how you made friends.
I now have more lands than you.
Oh.
So I will get Arena. Arena is doesn't tap for mana, but for 3, I can tap it to tap a target creature I control and a target creature an opponent's choice, and then those 2 creatures deal damage to each other.
Oh, I don't like that. I'll untap, and then I'm gonna show Veggie what a real standard card looks like. I'll play a Rockfall Veil for my land for turn, and then I'm going to play a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Chapter 1, I get to make a 2/2 Goblin Shaman that when it attacks, I make a treasure. Chapter 2, I get to discard up to 2 cards and draw that many. And Chapter 3, I get to exile this saga and return it to the battlefield transformed. So here is my little Goblin Shaman. And Joe, take 2.
I will take 2.
I will pass the turn.
All right, we'll start with an underground mortuary, and I will surveil. I don't think we need Finn.
The poison synergy. The poison synergy.
So then I will cast a Twitching Doll. I can tap it to add a mana of any color and put a nest counter on it. And then I can sacrifice it to make a 2/2 green spider token with reach for each counter on it. Getting in for one at Joe.
What?
Yeah.
I feel so bold.
Nice blockers.
Well, I'm gonna put some blockers up this turn.
All right, go ahead. Let's see them.
Untap, draw. All right, let's play a Rugged Prairie, which is a land that taps for me in this.
I like that we have to specify now since Arena is on board.
All right, and lead my turn off here with a Spirited Companion. It enters the battlefield and I draw a card, and it's adorable.
I love him.
He's got flavor text that doesn't make me cry.
And here's a less fun card, but also cool. A Johnny, Nocto Pariah. When it's to the battlefield, I make a 2/1 cat token, and whenever one or more cats dies under my control, I get to flip a Johnny into a planeswalker. And when he flips, I will tell you what he does, because there's a lot of words on the other side as well. So we'll get this adorable, slightly chubby cat that I really love. Because these ones are jacked cats, so we need the contrast.
Yeah.
I will pass.
All right, well, let's see if I can make Airball proud in his absence. I am going to cast this expressive iteration. I'm gonna look at 3 off the top and put 1 in my hand, 1 on the bottom, and exile 1 that I can play this turn.
Well, before you resolve it, you might want to put your counters here.
Or you can let me do it the way that I wanna do it so the editing is easy.
That's fair. I'm sorry for doing things correctly.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this card on the bottom, I'm going to put this card in my hand, and I'm going to exile a Sulundi Vision that I can play this turn, which I will as a land. And then I'll get 2 counters onto my Smoldering Egg because I cast a spell that costs 2. That's it, that's all I got. Pass turn.
All right, I'm gonna untap, but before I draw, I am going to tap the Scholar to remove a counter from the Fable, which won't kill it. And that'll let me get a Plains and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Being able to remove counters from Fable of the Mirror Breaker is perfect. It's allowing me to fix my hand, but it's also putting a bunch of cards in the graveyard in a deck that sort of specializes in pulling things out of its graveyard. I will go ahead and find a Sacred Foundry. It's gonna come into play tapped. Thanks for having extra lands, Schultz. And then I will draw my card, and then I will trigger my Saga, which is going to make another Shaman. Ha ha ha. We have defied time itself. My land for turn is going to be an Elegant Parlor. I'll surveil 1. I will keep it on top. And then I'll pay 2 for Femaref Enchantress. She's a 1/2 that says whenever an enchantment is put into the graveyard from play, I get to draw a card. All right, Joe has a Planeswalker and I'm scared of them. So 2 from the Goblin Shaman, I'll get the trigger and I'll get to make a treasure.
Well, now I'm definitely gonna have a Planeswalker because you're making me a Planeswalker.
But you'll have less cats, right?
That is true, but I will block so that this cat warrior will die and flip my Ajani. And I should probably give this a read now that we are on this side. Ajani, Nakatl Avenger. Enters with 3 loyalty, +2, put a +1/+1 counter on each cat I control. I don't have any of those. I can 0 to make a cat warrior token, same as the one I just had. And if I control a red permanent that isn't this one, then I can deal damage equal to the number of creatures I control. And -4, each opponent chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. So many words. Look at that middle ability. It looks like it's more words than the ultimate.
And that is gonna do it. I'm gonna pass.
I didn't want to play Beside You for land, but I will because I am tapping out to cast my commander. Shelob, Child of Ungoliant. It's a 8/8 Death Touch Ward 2 that gives spiders I control Death Touch in Ward 2. Whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider I control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature except it's a food artifact with pay 2, sacrifice it, and gain 3 life. It loses all other card types.
You won the 6-mana race.
6-mana race feels good. Pass.
All right, to start my turn, I will play this really cool mountain. Tap this, an Arcane Signet, to play a Talisman of Conviction. I will then tap 2 to play Charming Scoundrel. When it enters, I can choose one, discard a card, draw a card, create a treasure, or make a wicked roll. Because I tapped like this, I will have to take a damage, and it was definitely intentional, and I'm not just bad at Magic. I will get a treasure. I will choose to get a treasure off of Charming Scoundrel. And then I will zero a Johnny, make a Cat Warrior, and choose to target the Twitching Doll for the 3, paying the 2 for the ward. I'll pass the turn to Veggie.
I'm gonna play a Desolate Lighthouse, which I can tap and pay 3 mana to draw a card and discard a card. But for now, it's just going to help me to cast this Midnight Clock. Taps for mana, I can pay 3 to put an hour counter on it. It gets an hour counter at each upkeep, and once it hits 12 counters, I shuffle my hand and graveyard into my library and draw 7. That's all I got, so I will pass the turn.
So I will just draw a card, and I will go up on my Saga,
I'll put a counter on to Midnight Clock.
and I will discard 2 cards.
Dong. I'll dong then.
No dongs.
Like, no, I dong. It's like iCarly.
I'm gonna discard 2 cards off of the Fable and draw 2. I'm gonna play a land for turn, and it's going to be a Field of the Dead. It makes colorless, and when it enters or another land enters, if I control 7 lands with different names, I get to make a 2/2 black zombie creature token, which I don't have. We have 6 right now, so 1 more is what we need. And then I'm gonna go ahead and follow suit, and I'm going to pay 6 using my treasure to cast my commander, Ivar Wolf-Kissed, a 7/6 with trample and haste. And when it deals combat damage to a player, I get to mill that many cards. And I can put a Saga card or a land card from among them onto the battlefield.
I forgot that card had haste.
You can write.
Oh my god. That's so good.
All right, Joe, here's the thing. I don't like your Planeswalker.
Yeah, but what if it doesn't kill any of your things?
But if it ults, it's gonna be a problem anyway.
What if I won't ult it?
So here's the thing.
I'll just minus it. I'll just zero it, and I won't even consider ulting it.
You don't know, that could be, here's the thing, I'll attack Veggie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's usually a good
Yeah,
good
you
play.
gotta wait for the deal before you start redealing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what's the deal?
I want you to let me hit it for 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I am totally fine with it taking 2.
Okay, so then we'll take the deal, and Joe, you're gonna get 2 from the Goblin Shaman, going to a Johnny, and then Veggie is gonna get Ivor.
Yes, I have no blocks.
I'm gonna get a treasure token as well from the Shaman.
All right, and I will be Ivor Kissed.
And here we go.
All right, I'm gonna get to mill 7 cards. 7, that's a lot. And then I get to pick a land or a Saga from among them and put that onto the battlefield.
Sure hope it's a land.
Well, it's 4 lands and 3 Sagas.
Well, all right, well.
Oh.
I'm gonna take the Hall of Heliod's Generosity because I can get all of these Sagas back. So that seems pretty cool. And that's gonna just come onto the battlefield which notably is my 7th land with a different name. So I'm also going to get a trigger from Field of the Dead, and I'm gonna get a 2/2 zombie.
Game changer.
All right, here is my little zombie friend, and I think that's gonna do it. I will pass the turn.
I'll play a Pathway on green. And since everybody seems to think I'm the threat somehow in front of Field of Dead and a Johnny, we'll pass.
Oh.
Pass. Okay. Untap. Draw. That's a funny draw. I will play my own tapped Field of the Dead.
Boo.
Don't boo me. It's 2 away from doing anything. It doesn't do anything right now. And I think it's time I have finally made it to 6. So I would like to play my commander, Duke Older Ravengard. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and myriad until your next turn. All right, now we will 0 a Johnny. And I said I wouldn't hit NerdGirl's creatures I think I said that. I don't know if that was part of the deal. Who knows?
It was part of the deal.
I will hit you for 5 to the face, NerdGirl. I don't want to kill, I would feel so bad killing this egg. And nothing else warrants a 5 damage. I mean,
Spite.
No.
Yeah, there's maybe some spite.
No, never spite. We friends.
You're lava axing me in the face.
We're friends. That was the nice thing to hit instead of your commander, which has 6 toughness, so I couldn't kill it anyway.
You're hitting me for 5.
Yeah, I won't do it again next. I won't do it again.
Why do people always choose violence and then beg and plead for their life afterwards?
I won't do it again. We had to do it once. I was just trying to be fair. You had the most life. I will go to combat. I would like to give my little doggy myriad and haste.
Oh, that's so cute.
He's so cute. And I
should blow that up, huh?
I will go to combat. I'll send the real one at Veggie, and we will get 2 more spirited companions. 1 at NerdGirl and 1 at you. Whose name I totally know, Schultz. When they enter, I will draw 2 cards, 1 for each doggy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you guys can block these 1/1 doggies.
I will
Block
it.
Yeah. Yeah, no damage gets through. These are gone now. This one doesn't die because this is pretty small.
So in addition to not taking damage, I also get a little Oliver twist on that, where I get food that is a copy of Spirited Companion that did not get through.
That's disgusting. You're gonna eat them?
No.
You're gonna eat the little puppy?
I am gonna draw a card with him.
That's true.
That's pretty cool.
All right, and now I will pass to you, Veggie.
I'm going to play Command Tower. And then I am at 6, so I will cast my commander, Melek Izzet Paragon. A 2/4. I play with the top card of my library revealed, and I can cast instant and sorcery spells from the top of my library. But when I cast one from the top, I copy it. So let's see what we got. It is a Staff of Completion, not an instant or sorcery. Cool, that's it for me. Pass.
All right, on your end step, I'm gonna tap the Scholar to remove a counter from the Fable. I'm gonna show this Lush Portico. I actually have the most lands, so it won't go onto the battlefield, but it will go into my hand.
Ooh, I actually have the most lands.
Yes. Let's untap.
Gonna do anything cool on your upkeep?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy here. I am going to, all of the blue players tapped out, right? So I'll draw my card for turn. I'll go to 2.
All the blue player tapped out.
And then I am going to discard 2 cards, an artifact and a saga. I'll draw 2. I will go ahead and play that Lush Portico as my land for turn, which will trigger my field, giving me a second zombie. And then I'll surveil. I will put this in the graveyard. Excellent. All right, I am going to attack Joe. You're gonna be getting the 7/6, and I will send all my other creatures minus 1 zombie over to a Johnny. And I will get a trigger from the shaman to give me another treasure.
Yeah, I'll block and I'll kill everything except for this 2/2.
Okay.
And
Before blocks, I don't want a Johnny any around. Twitching doll killer, slayer of dolls. I'm gonna tap 3 and activate Arena. I will tap Shelob and I will have Joe choose a creature to fight.
oh yeah, I choose.
That land is bad.
Target creature of an opponent's choice he
Yeah.
or she controls.
Yeah, card. All right, I'll do my cat. My cat's dead.
And then we're gonna ram through one more spell here before blocks. And we're gonna have Shelob fight Duke.
Duke's dead.
And I would like a copy of him as well, please.
Yeah, that
You can't have my Duke.
is now a problem.
I'd have preferred to hold Ram through for something a little bit more proactive, but getting a copy of Joe's commander seems great with my spiders.
I could block 2 damage. Is that helpful? From Ivor trampling over?
I mean, that's a 7 power trampling commander. So
Yeah.
that stops it from being a 3-hit kill.
I'll double block.
I'll also make it easier and let you know that those are going to die at the end of the combat anyway, so might as well
I'll
save.
double block.
Okay. So then we will kill the Ajani. I will trample over for 5.
Yep.
So I get to mill 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 2 lands and 3 enchantments. I'm gonna choose the Croson Verge. It's gonna come onto the battlefield. And then these will all go into the graveyard. I'm gonna go ahead and pay 6, 3 white, and some colorless. And I am going to cast Brilliant Restoration. I'm going to return all artifacts and enchantment cards from my graveyard onto the battlefield.
Chip.
So I'm gonna put these 4 lands back into my graveyard and I will put these 11 enchantment and artifacts onto the battlefield.
That's not a real number. Are you kidding me?
The one I'm gonna have resolve first will be the Knight of the Doctor. And on chapter 1, it's gonna destroy all creatures.
Okay. You will draw a card from my dog dying.
Next, I'll have the Weatherseed Treaty come onto the battlefield, which is going to allow me to search for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. I will get this basic Forest, which will indeed trigger the field, giving me a zombie. Put him on the side. Jugon defends the temple. I'm gonna get a 1/1 green human monk that can tap for mana. Here is my little monk. Next up, I am going to get to search for a basic plains and put that into my hand. These will be all on chapter 1.
Replenish in that deck.
Did I put a replenish? I didn't make that deck good. It needs it. It's Saga deck.
It does not need a replenish. I gotta start looking at these deck lists.
It's
Next will be Calyx Guided by Fate. He has Constellation. Whenever he or another enchantment enters the battlefield under my control, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which notably these all came into play at the same time and he'll see them all, which is really cool. When he or an enchanted creature deal combat damage to a player, I can create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment I control. I can only do this once per turn. I will play Birth of Meletis. I get to search for another basic plains, but I will fail to find. Chapter 1. We're almost there, guys. Next up is Fall of the First Civilization. Me and target opponent will get to draw 2 cards.
All right, so which one of them is gonna get to draw 2 cards?
How many cards in both of your hands?
I have 5.
6.
4.
He's got the most stuff going on though.
Yeah, this is scary. Joe, you get to draw some cards. Next up, the Mending of Dominaria.
This is actually so cool.
I get to mill 2 cards, and then I can return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand. So I'll mill 2, not enchantments. And then the creature I'm going to choose to return is going to be the Enchantress. So that way when all of these die, I get to draw more cards.
Yeah, I hate these players that just like play a deck with a million game actions and then have to pass after that.
I mean, I did some stuff.
Maybe this was the veggie deck.
The Aesir Escape Valhalla. I get to exile a permanent card from my graveyard and gain life equal to its mana cost. That's gonna be 2, just gonna get rid of the Scholar. It's the only permanent in my graveyard. And then there and back again, 1 target creature can't block as long as I have this, and the ring tempts me. I am going to have the ring tempt Calyx. Not that it's going to matter. And the final card is a power conduit. I can tap it to remove a counter from a permanent I control. And then I can choose 1. I can put a charge counter on target artifact, or I can put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. Calyx did see 10 total enchantments come onto the battlefield, so he is going to get 10 +1/+1 counters.
0?
Yeah.
I was worried to be a big number.
Okay, I think I've done enough. I don't think I can do anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I won't move to discard. I'll just use a treasure and cast the Enchantress we saw earlier. So that way I can draw cards if you guys manage to kill any of these things.
How'd you get that back?
From this, Joe, from this.
That
got that back.
I didn't realize that those did something. I thought that you just put them on the battlefield.
And then I will pass the turn so I can clean up my board.
I'm realizing the only really lame line you should never do is this. I looked at that and was like, oh, that's real lame.
I'll tap 3 for Spinner of Souls. It's a 4/3 with reach, and whenever another non-token creature I control dies, I can reveal cards from the top of my library until I get a creature card, and I put it into my hand. It's a terrible time to have lands that don't tap for mana. So we'll play Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, and we'll cast out Shelob, Dread Weaver. It's a 3/3. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, exile it. I can play 2 colorless and a black to put a creature card exiled with Shelob into its owner's graveyard and put 2 counters on it, or I can pay X, 1, and a black to put target creature exiled onto the battlefield tapped under my control. And that's as good as I got. So go.
Untap. I will play one of my favorite lands, Arena of Glory, which can be exerted to give a creature haste.
So good.
7 mana. But let's try Hasty Ancient Gold Dragon. Ancient Gold Dragon is a flying creature, and when it hits a player, I roll a d20 and create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens equal to the result. Go to combat. I'm almost positive NerdGirl has some sort of removal, but if I don't try and swing at her with the Ancient Gold Dragon, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna lose, so might as well go for it.
Ugh. I guess you can go to combat. Who are you hitting?
I mean, it is you.
Okay.
Undoubtedly you.
Your threat of if you do something to me, I will kill you is now like pretty much just a universal threat.
Swords to Plowshares.
Yes,
We will exile it. You'll gain some life though, equal to its power.
Joe's winning now.
Go ahead. Oh wait, hold on. I have 2 mana here? Yes, my Arena Glory is X-erted. Go ahead.
My ex hurted me too. Midnight Clock goes up to 8 counters. I'll draw a card. How weird do we want this game to get?
NerdGirl is the threat, but we got time.
Yeah, none of this does anything too crazy.
What if you didn't have time?
Wait. What? Well, we need time.
Look, I'm just asking, what is your plan? Because if there isn't one, I'm gonna have fun while I die.
So we have to die to creatures.
Yep.
And I can control creatures for a little bit with my hand.
Well, when in doubt, first you start by playing the single card in your hand that can interact with NerdGirl's board. I'll play this Otawara as a land. Hey! And then, also when in doubt, draw cards. I will tap out to cast the Seagate Restoration.
Yeah, let's go!
I will draw cards equal to the number of cards in my hand plus 1, and then I have no max hand size for this game. I have 5 cards, so I will draw 6. Pass the turn.
All right, let's untap. And then I will draw for turn. And then we've got some triggers to do. All right, I am going to go up. I will discard 2 and draw 2. I will start from the bottom row. I get to put a number of +1/+1 counters onto a creature equal to the exiled card's mana cost. Let's just go here. And then we'll go to 2. I get to mill 2 cards and then return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand, which will be the Jukai Naturalist, which I just discarded. It's gonna return to my hand. I'll go up to 2 and I get to search for a mountain and put that card onto the battlefield.
Not a basic.
I will find this mountain and put it onto the battlefield. I will also get another zombie from the Field of the Dead. I'll go up to 2, and then it says I may discard a card. When you do, return target card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I'll discard the Fertile Ground and just return it to the battlefield. And I will attach it to the mountain, which will trigger a constellation. I'll get to put another counter onto a creature. I will get to make an 0/4 wall. It's a kitty cat. He's very cute. I get to exile an artifact someone controls. Oh, that's a good idea. Awesome. I didn't even realize I was gonna get to do that. I will end the door, which will bring back a legendary creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. I get to put my choice of First Strike, Vigilance, or Lifelink counter onto it. I will just choose Lifelink counter. And then we get to make a green Saproling token. Here is my little Saproling, and then we get to put a +1/+1 counter on up to 2 different creatures. So we will put that onto here and here, go to 11. The Enchantress will allow me to also draw when the Knight of the Doctor goes into the graveyard. Needing to resolve like 15 saga triggers all at once is a lot. And none of them did anything too crazy, but when you add them all together, this was a hell of a turn. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and tap 8 for my commander. She's gonna be back. She's got haste, so that's fun. And then I will tap for 3 more to cast a Strength of the Harvest on her. She's gonna get +1/+1 for each enchantment I control.
And creature.
Oh, and creature.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's even better. I didn't realize that. But it's also an enchantment in herself, so I will get a constellation trigger. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and go to combat. And
Is this a Will of the Council thing? Can we
discuss?
You want to go to combat? I don't want you to go to combat.
I'm in favor of not combat, yeah.
I'm gonna say, let's end this. Combat.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so I'm just going to declare my attacks, and I am going to have my commander go to Schultz, and then this is only 1 zombie, the other one is Summoning Sick, and these are all going to go to, who am I more worried about? I think it's gonna be Joe.
Is that all you got?
Yes.
I will take it.
So this is 26, and then if you throw both of your butts under it, I can pump it to 27 with 6 blocks. That should be 21 commander damage.
Okay, I will put both my butts under it.
All right, then I will remove a counter from, what do I want to keep? I like redraw, so I'm just gonna remove it from the Fable again.
Could take off the useless lifelink counter at Barbara Wright.
Put a counter onto my commander, making her 27 power with trample. And then that'll be 22 to Joe.
Is that all?
Easy game, it's not that bad.
I'm not even dead.
Not even dead is correct. And then I will pass the turn with 7 cards in hand.
All right, so we got this?
Yeah, this is no longer exerted, for what it's worth. I will draw. I'll play a Commander Beacon, get a 2/2 zombie. Look out, world, here I come. I guess do what I can to control this nonsense, which is not much, but it is something. We'll play the Eternal Wanderer. No more than one creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer. +1 to exile one target artifact or creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of that player's next end step. 0 to make a 2/2 double striking samurai, and -4 for each player. Choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. So we're going to do that. -4, I will choose for you to keep your wall, your 0/4 wall over there, and get rid of everything else.
I will get to draw 1 card because the Enchantress saw the Calyx go into the graveyard.
All right, I will pay 3 mana for a Plundering Barbarian, and I will smash the chest and destroy the power conduit.
Okay.
And that is my turn. Go ahead, Veggie.
All right, we got this under control now.
I really slowed it down over there.
I'm gonna draw some more cards. My midnight clock's up to 11. Okay, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna pay 2. For a Merchant Scroll, I'm gonna search for a blue instant and put it into my hand.
That's the game plan.
That's the game plan. We're gonna find what the deck is supposed to do. It's Prologue to Phyresis.
Yeah.
So this is gonna go to my hand. And then we're gonna cast it. I'm gonna pay 2. Everybody gets a poison counter, and I draw a card.
Okay, you can have one so you can pretend.
Ooh, these are nice. I'll put it right next to my knife total.
I'm gonna draw a card. I don't think it'll matter too much, so I'm going to play the backside of Shatter Skull Smashing, and I'm gonna pay 3 life so it comes in untapped, because you never know what I'm gonna draw. I'll pay 2 for an Arcane Signet, and then I'll pay 3 for a Staff of Completion. You can tap and pay a life to destroy a permanent that I own, tap and pay 2 life to add mana, tap pay 3, proliferate, tap pay 4, draw a card, and pay 5 mana to untap it. If I live, Staff of Completion is pretty relevant here. It gives me a lot of options that the deck really wants. Mana, card draw, or proliferating the poison counters. And paying life is not really gonna matter because I think in this game, I'm just gonna go from where I am at to 0 in 1 turn. That's all I got. So I will pass the turn.
All right, go to my upkeep.
I will finally get 12 counters on my midnight clock. I'm gonna pitch all 9 cards in my hand. This will get exiled, but the prologue goes back in.
I will draw for turn. I'm going to start to level up my stuff. We'll go to 2. I'll discard 2, draw 2 from the Fable. I will go to 3, which is going to return this in Saga and the card to my hand. That's cool.
Yep.
I will go to 3 here and get to return all land cards from my graveyard to my hand.
Oh, not to hand.
Or to the battlefield, that's what I meant.
They're tapped, right?
It does not say tapped. So it'll be untapped, untapped. Oh, sure, I'll pay 2. 2 or more opponents. 2 or more opponents. That's 5 total lands, giving me 5 zombies. I will create a 6/6 flying dragon that says, when this creature dies, I get to create 14 treasures.
Wait, that's what that card is?
Yeah.
I forgot how silly that card is.
All right, here is my dragon. We get to exile the Iganjo and bring it back onto the battlefield as an architect, which is a 3/4 with vigilance. And when it attacks or blocks, I get to create a 1/1 colorless spirit. I will get to gain 2 life off of the birth. We're gonna save this one for last. I will get to do something with a lot of text. Domain, target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains trample until end of turn. Wow, well, this is a wall, so that doesn't work. It doesn't get haste or anything, so I can't use it at all, so I guess we'll just target, I don't know, a zombie in case I can find haste. And then finally, I get to exile this saga and return it to the battlefield under my control. And it becomes a 2/2 flyer that whenever another creature enters the battlefield under my control, I may pay X. When I do, I get to put X +1/+1 counters onto a creature. As long as I control 5 or more modified creatures, this will get +5/+5 and have trample. And then I will get to trigger the final saga, which is the Fall of Civilization. Everybody gets to choose 3 non-land permanents and destroy the rest.
Yes. I'm gonna destroy these talisman and this and keep these 3.
I'm gonna keep everything I got on the board.
I guess for me it's these 3, and I will get rid of these. All right, I am going to just start with a land for turn, which is gonna give me a zombie. And then I've gotta do something a little sneaky. I'm going to pay 3 mana and use the Hall of Heliod's Generosity. And I'm gonna go through my graveyard and I'm going to take the Knight of the Doctor and put that back on top of my library.
You want a board wipe again?
You can destroy your zombie, Joe.
Not quite. And then we're gonna pay 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for my commander. She's back. And that leaves me conveniently with 4 mana to cast Replenish. I'm gonna return all enchantment cards from my graveyard to play. And then I'm gonna show you guys how I think that should be lethal.
It needs it. It's Saga deck.
It does not need a replenish.
Because I have 12 enchantments that are gonna come back into play, including the Strength of Harvest, which is going to make my commander a lethal target, and Calyx, which will give me an additional 12 counters onto my dragon, which does have haste, notably.
All right, so in response, I'm going to make you resolve all of your sagas. I'm going to proliferate all of your... I am going to activate this. I'm going to make you each get 1 more poison and put a counter on Smog, but I will not proliferate your sagas. But we die!
Yeah!
No card fapping, Joe.
I put my cards down.
After you
Oh,
fapped.
did I fap first? Sometimes I just don't even notice I fap.
Is that because you're a master?
It becomes so, it happens at the table so much you guys don't even notice.
I feel like it is a problem if you don't notice that you're doing it.
There I go fapping again.
There's the clip. We got the clip. All right.
This deck had so much more life to live. I can't believe I was the first player eliminated. You couldn't have just like trapped me in a cup and put me outside? I can't wait to try Arena and Shelob again. That was fantastic.
Don't forget to support your favorite Commander show by doing something you were going to do anyway, and that's buy Magic singles. And you can do so by using our sponsor, TOA.
It really is that easy, and Tales of Adventure has a wide selection of singles from the most basic printings all the way through the most premium versions. And they've also started stocking sealed product now, so you don't need to go anywhere else for anything Magic.
And you get 5% off your entire order when you use code DECKEDOUT at checkout.
And you should know by now, the link is down in the description, right there.
What a booty he is.
He's the reverse spider. He doesn't have a booty. His butt is where his face should be.
He's got a big face.
This game looked like an absolute blowout, and it truly was. But honestly, NerdGirl going first was huge to decide who won this game. I feel like I was just 1 or 2 turns behind of absolutely popping off with my commander and doing the same kind of things.
If you're building decks and you're not using Moxfield, then I Mox feel bad for you. It just is the best tool for organizing, customizing, and collaborating on all of your decks.
In fact, it's the only way that our team can keep up with building sometimes over 20 decks per month. And it's the way that we can share our deck lists with you in a nice, easy format.
You can always support the show too, just by following us on Moxfield, where you can find every deck that's ever been on the show.
I haven't had that with people's names. I've said the wrong name over, like, you know, I'll be saying Veggie, but I'll say Andrew, whoever. But I have lost the word for like spoon. Now, I don't know if it's actually spoon specifically, but like a word I should know. I was like, wait a minute.
Round fork, solid fork. Scooper knife.
Given that this is a Saga deck, I thought I was going to have a slow and painful climb uphill to try to kill my opponents with teeny tiny pieces of value. But it turns out a 7-power trampler that you can pump up to the moon can just kill everyone? Ultimate Guard is the industry leader in TCG accessories.
And Ultimate Guard products are the way that all 3 of us on the Decked Out team are able to organize, protect, and display our collections. And they're the best way to show off all of our cards on camera for you.
So make sure you use the link down below in the description to support the show and pick yourself up some amazing upgrades.
Hey, I'm SchulzCubed, and today I'll be playing Shelob, Child of Ungoliant.
It's like the Matt Berry Child of Ungoliant.
Hey, I'm SchulzCubed, and today I'll be
Well, 6 might not have been my number, aside from the number of spells that I played in the game total. But 7 mana commanders, now we're talking. Battle Cruiser all day, that's where I'm looking for my next win.
We'd like to thank our patrons and YouTube members. Thanks to your support, we're able to film cool things like this Mana Cost series.
That's right, it is specifically thanks to patrons and members like you, Biff, that we're able to make this show weekly, and thanks for that.
And don't forget, you can always become a part of the show, unlock those exclusive perks, monthly signed tokens from the cast and our guests, as well as spell table games with us, or even have us play your 7CMC here on the show.
And of course, Biffany, you can always support the show by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That's all we've got for you for today. We'll see you next time on
Decked Out. What kind of name is Biffany?